Jazz Cafe. This is a very warm welcome to the stage of Lower Merion High School Big Band.
How about that? Welcome to Chris's Jazz Cafe. My name is Andrew New. This is the Lower Merion High School Jazz Ensemble. This is our 4th or 5th or 6th year. I've lost track how many times we've been coming here, but it's always a highlight of the many performances we do throughout the course of the year. So we started off with a brand new piece for us. I think that was the first time we performed it. That was called Catch As Catch Can, and that was written by Lenny Niehaus, who was a saxophone player and a longtime writer and arranger and composer for the Stan Kenton Orchestra. And we heard actually first from Dan Smith over there on the vibes, and then give him a hand. How about that? You're gonna get to know a lot of the folks here in the band if you don't already know them, or if you're not already related to them. We also had Jake Stanger there on tenor sax. How about that? We're gonna hear a lot from him. So we are going to pick it up with one of our tunes from our season here. This is actually a very typical jazz standard that you're going to see on a lot of jam sessions and records, and it was originally recorded by J.J. Johnson and composed by him. It's a very haunting ballad that we're used to hearing in a very, very somber kind of way. And so this is a little bit of a different treatment of J.J. Johnson's Lament. J.J. Johnson's Lament. That was actually arranged by a Los Angeles arranger and composer named Jeremy Levy, who's been doing a lot of orchestrations for the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. So he was kind enough to share that chart with us. And we heard from Mia over there on baritone saxophone, Asher back there on trumpet and flugelhorn, and we heard from Roland there on trombone. Also put your hands together for Danny keeping together on the Montuna there. So we're going to take it into another jazz standard here, and again, a very atypical arrangement that you might not hear when you hear other big bands play this. This is actually a tune from Herbie Hancock called Dolphin Dance. And who are we going to hear from? Adam, you going to play on this one? We're going to hear from Adam on alto sax, and who's, is it Leo's playing on this one? Or is Fiona playing on this one? Let's have you both play on it. Okay, we'll do 3 choruses. All right? What's the worst that can happen? One thing I've learned is that jazz means never having to say I'm sorry. So, okay, all right. So, talk amongst yourselves for a moment. So we're going to do 3 choruses here. Let's do Adam, Leo, Fiona. Does that work out? Oh, we already worked it out. You had to talk already? I don't even need to be here. So they already worked it out, actually. Okay, so when are we playing the background figures? Okay. Background figures last time. Did you work? I think Adam, tell them what's going on. So this is Dolphin Dance. This is arranged by Gordon McCroskey, and this is actually originally written for a master class at Eastman. I think it was an arranging course at Eastman School of Music, and this was one of the pieces that was used for, I guess it was a contribution for his project. And it was, as I understand it, Gordon McCroskey is a piano player, so very different kind of an orchestration. There it is, Dolphin Dance. So we heard from, I guess we started off with Leo back there on guitar. Fiona on trumpet. Adam on alto saxophone. We also heard a little bit of stuff in there from Danny on piano. And a couple of nice little moments from our lead trumpet, Emma, back there. So we're going to do something from the renowned jazz ensemble War. You guys remember them from back in the early 70s? They're not really a jazz group. This is definitely not a tune that you would typically hear with a jazz ensemble. We did a little bit of a twist on it, and this is actually a version of their song, The World Is A Ghetto, if anyone remembers that tune. So we're going to feature Ryan on this one. This is actually originally written for the Bernie Dressel Big Band. Bernie is a jazz drummer out of Los Angeles and is a longtime drummer for the Gordon Goodwin Fat Band. And you've heard his drums on Family Guy and movie soundtracks, Star Trek, The Simpsons. So who else are we going to hear from this? Oh, we're going to hear from Olivia on soprano saxophone and Ethan on trombone. Did I forget anyone? You know what? Let's do one more on that one too. We'll do 3 solos on this.
How you doing, Andrew? Let's get to it. 3 solos. 3 solos. Everyone clear? 3 solos. He has 2 lines, but yes. Ryan, with this section, 3 solos. You got it?
Give it up for Ryan back there on drums. Put your hands together for Ethan on trombone. Olivia on soprano saxophone. It's called The World Is A Ghetto. I'm going to turn the program over to Olivia because she's just that awesome. Okay? Olivia, you want to tell us what's going to happen here?
Thanks. So now we're gonna play a tune with the LM Jazz combo. We were actually here last week. We had a show. So we're gonna play the theme from Monsters, Inc. So maybe it'll sound familiar to you when we play it. So it is a Randy Newman composition. And yeah, we hope you like it. Thanks for coming out.
Q bar 5. Q bar 5. Come on. Where's our drummer? I really had no idea they were all going to leave like that. But we hadn't talked about it, so in all fairness, I appreciate the fact when they make executive decisions like that, because it does make my job easier to a certain extent, but it also kind of leaves me kind of confused. Q bar 5. Jake, here we go. Jake, here we go.
Come on, Jake. Jake.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we're going to now do something as another jazz standard. It's our own little interpretation of it. One of my favorite all-time jazz composers, Q bar 5. Kick on, Jake. I will Q bar 5. Okay, Josh, you can stop playing. I'm going to Q bar 5. I'm talking here. We're having like a thing. We're making. This is showbiz here. This business called show. By the way, take a listen to Jake back there. Isn't he great? So this is a piece from one of my favorite jazz composers, Cole Porter. Anyone familiar with Cole Porter? He's one of just the greatest jazz composers out there. Just not only great tunes, great standards, pop standards. I mean, this was pop tunes of the day, but the jazz, the chord changes that were used were really embraced by the jazz artists over the years, and because they're just so interesting and just so hip what they were doing. So this is our reinterpretation of a tune called What Is This Thing Called Love? And this is actually done as though it might have been recorded by the Buddy Rich Orchestra. As you can hear, he's kind of channeling a little bit of that right now. So we're going to come in at bar 5 together. Hey, no, they're good. They're on autopilot back there, so I don't need to even be here. All right, we're going to rock and roll here. thing called love. Put your hands together for Jake once again back there on drums. We heard from Adam Shaw there on alto saxophone. Leo back there on guitar. And Ben Lee's here on tenor saxophone. We're going to feature a song that was requested by Olivia. This is actually a tune that was written by another Los Angeles composer named Mike Barone. Now, that may not be a household name to you, but you've certainly heard his music because he wrote for many years for The Tonight Show when it was Johnny Carson and his musical director, trumpet player, Doc Severinsen, thank you. He wrote many of the charts for Doc Severinsen and The Tonight Show Orchestra. Over the years, he also had a group called Trombones Unlimited back in the 1960s. He's still around. He still leads his own big band in LA, still recording records, and he is crotchety as ever. But he was fortunate. He's gotten to a point in his career where he decided he wanted to share a lot of the charts that he's written over the years. So this is actually a chart that I actually remember playing when I was a kid. And I saw that he had posted this one on his website, and I was like, you know what? Let's see what this one's all about, if it holds up. So this is kind of in the era of maybe the 1970s jazz rock era. That was sort of kind of a crossover. You heard music from bands like Blood, Sweat, and Tears in Chicago, and of course a lot of the big bands of the era were embracing that. Woody Herman, Maynard Ferguson, Buddy Rich. So this is kind of in that genre. So this is a piece, and I asked Mike about this, about the title of it. It's called Flip Top. And does anyone know what a flip top is? Okay, you have your hand up there almost. Okay, she had it halfway up and then she changed her mind. I think it's also called a pop top. And actually it had a subtitle that I think is not actually on the chart. It was called Flip Top Easy Opener. Does that help y'all? You know what that is? Okay, I mean, I know you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So, if you remember back in the day, whenever day that was, when you would buy a can of soda, this is my prop, they would have, you'd have to open it up on the top there, so you would just pull the tab on it. Now we've got these little things here that would just kind of folds back. You never heard this story? Okay. See, this half of the room knows exactly what I'm talking about. This half of the room is totally clueless. So what people used to do, and this is probably why they changed it, because this is back in the days before things were politically correct, you would pull this piece of metal, sharp metal off, and I suppose if you were being, considerate, you wouldn't just throw it on the ground, because you would see these things like all over the ground. So, but some people, they would actually throw it inside the can, and then of course people would drink their soda with a piece of sharp metal inside it. So I guess at some point they decided that wasn't a good idea. But I do remember, like, you'd go to a pizza place or something like that, and everyone would peel them off, and then they would piece them together, and they would make like a chain, and they would string it around like the pizza place. So they don't have that anymore, but it was called a flip top, and it was an easy opener, so you could open up the soda. So does that make you want to play this song even more, Olivia? Okay, thank you, Olivia. Who's playing on this? Roland, you're going to play on this one, right? Okay, make sure you move the trombone mic over for it this time. You think maybe you can help him out on that? Okay, here we go.
What? What? Does that affect the song? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 4.
up, easy opener. Roland there on trombone. Is everyone having a fun time tonight? Well, we're going to play a song that is just suited for that. Originally composed by Sammy Nestico for the Count Basie Orchestra, this is appropriately titled Fun Time. We're going to feature on piano Danny Farah back there. He's going to give us some Farah dust. Who else we hear? Oh, just Danny on this one, right? Okay. Well, Sammy Nestico is one of my all-time favorite writers and composers. Again, if you've been to jazz festivals over the years, you've heard his music. Wrote for many years for the Count Basie Orchestra, for the Airmen and Note. Many pop artists over the years, including Barry Manilow, Tony Tennille, who did big band albums in their day. And this is, I think, from a record called Basie Straight Ahead, which was, you heard a lot of tunes, Hey Burner, Basie Straight Ahead, the title track there, the Queen Bee. It's Oh So Nice, I think, was off of that record. So we've covered a lot of that material. One of the things we've always found playing the music of Sammy Nestico, it's not necessarily easy, but you know it's going to be worth it, the payoff in the end, because the music is just so well written, and it's always a great chart when you see his name at the top of it. So this is a piece called Fun Time from the Count Basie Orchestra. Basie's Fun Time. Danny Farah on piano over there, playing the part of Count Basie. As you can see, we have Danny's vocal mic all set up. We're gonna have something exciting happen in the second half. Okay, everyone, stay here. The saxes have to go? They gotta go. Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. Okay, so we are once again going to turn the program over to Olivia because she's that awesome. Olivia, you want to tell us about what's going to happen here? I think all the guys are going to take off. Is that what I hear? Millennials, am I right?
She's awesome.
Thanks, again. So, this is an ensemble called Key of She, and it's a group that I actually created a couple years ago because, as you can see, there are only 5 girls in this jazz band. That should not be a thing. There should be more of us. Jazz is a very male-dominated field, and yes, we do love our dude jazz musicians because they've done a lot for us. But it's nice to see some ladies in the jazz band, so yeah! So this is a group called Key of She, and this is like a small portion of our group. We do have more girls incorporated from the middle schools, but we are going to be performing Come Fly With Me, which is an arrangement that I created especially for this group. We're a jazz horn choir, which means that we are without a rhythm section, because we need more girls in the rhythm section. Some problems, but yeah, we're gonna play Come Fly With Me, and yeah, here we go. Hope you like it. It's a Frank Sinatra tune.
All right.
So we're gonna do a dance. Well, we're not actually going to dance, but we're gonna do a song that is a dance. So I'm told. I looked it up on Wikipedia, so I know I'm right here. So does anyone remember the Boogaloo?
Yes.
That guy does. Okay. All right. So the Boogaloo, according to Wikipedia, and I could look this up, and I'm sure it's accurate because it's on the internet, is a combination of the music of Brazilian, a little bit of bossa nova, a little bit of samba, a little bit of Afro-Cuban, and a little bit of James Brown. And it was apparently popular for about 3 days in about 1967. But it was also one of those things that is such an infectious, great groove that it was embraced by many jazz artists like Quincy Jones, and if you've heard Lee Morgan, Sidewinder. So this is something that, again, another tune of ours here that we thought would be kind of fun to bring back, and we haven't done this for probably a year. I think the last time we played this, we were in another country. How about that? Yes, I know. Yeah, well, we were very fortunate that we did a tour of Italy last summer, and most of these. How many guys went to Italy last year? We learned stuff like gelato and gelati. They're both good on here. Andiamo, ciao. What was that? Arrivederci. I'm not sure. We might have read that one on Wikipedia too, actually. This is called Night of the Mojito. Who's following in this?
Now we need more new. Keep coming.
Are you playing this? Alright, 3 solos. I'll play on the end. 3 solos. 3 solos, backgrounds every time. When we get to the break, it's a break. I'll count it back in, and then it's a band. When we go on, it's the end.
1, 2, 3,
School Jazz Band. Thank you so much. We are not done yet tonight, but we are going to take a short intermission, so please stick around. We will be right back in just a few minutes. Thank you so much, folks.